This is what Nick Saban is doing with the Alabama Crimson Tide and the NIL. He's trying to protect that Bama nest.
Oh, yeah.
And anyone else coming in to strike with their offers and their car deals and their food or drink endorsements, you are threatening the Alabama dynasty nest. And he was doing a little conference, doing a little talk on stage, and he fired some shots. He coiled up like the rattlesnake going at Troy's Texas A&M Aggies.
We were second in recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, and like. All right, we didn't buy one player. All right, but I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain that in the future because more and more people are doing it.
Woo!
Oh, man.
Went and bought every player.
So not a single player in Alabama's got an NIL deal.
And everyone that got recruited to A&M got paid for. So, like, two things that Saban is exposing himself for. Not one player with. Did he say we didn't give one? We didn't pay for one?
He said we did not see that clip, Troy, right?
Let's hear it one more time.
We were second in recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, and like. All right, we didn't buy one player.
They didn't buy one player. So now what? Maybe he is saying that A&M already set up NIL deals for these guys, and Alabama didn't do that, and that it's just like when you come here, you're going to get your NIL deal with it. You'll be fine.
He said that Alabama players made $3 million, quote, doing it the right way last year, and that only 25 players were able to leverage. Only 25 players were able to leverage NIL opportunities.
Okay, well, that may be a problem for Alabama in the future with the fact that they don't have a ton of Fortune 500 companies in their state. You know, that may be a problem. Like Texas A&M is not gonna have that problem. And this is why I think teams that are in these states that have mega cities, Georgia with Atlanta, obviously Texas with Dallas and Houston, right? San Antonio even, California.
Where's A&M's Fortune 500 companies are coming from?
Houston, Dallas.
Okay.
Same thing. Same thing for the University of Texas. Same thing for Texas Tech. Even states like Illinois with Chicago, right? Like who knows? Illinois has been a non-factor. Michigan, they're going to have with Detroit. They'll have more NIL opportunities than maybe say like Mississippi. Is it sustainable in Mississippi? The NIL, is that sustainable? But Nick Saban also complained about parity this week and a lack of parity in college football. Like first of all, when was there parity in college football? 1990 through 98? Like, is that the era of parity? I think
Saban wants more parity.
That's what he says. He wants more parity.
That's like Jerry Jones wanting the salary cap.
Right. What Nick Saban meant to say is that he wants to go back to the day where Texas A&M can't spend $30 million openly on a recruiting class, and Tennessee can't spend $8 million on a quarterback.
Yep.
That's what he wants to go back to.
Yes.
Nick Saban is not sitting up here,
like NIL will create. It should create more parity.
It could.
It depends. It depends, like you say, if Alabama has these businesses and
I think it's going to shift. I think it's going to shift from some of your traditional powers, like in Alabama, to a Georgia, a Texas A&M, any team with like a mega city.
Yeah.
A mega city. You could say we got Fortune 500 companies.
You could say, oh, well, you have graduates who are millionaires and billionaires, but it makes more sense for that graduate to be in that city for the athlete to represent it.
Yeah,
right?
and it's just a tax write-off for a lot of these companies. They're paying. It's another form of employment.
Advertising.
Yeah, it's advertised there. It's another form of employment, if you will. But you're gonna, you'll have the biggest cities in the country now. The St. Louis's and the Atlantas.
Of course, Lane Kiffin also said recently A&M was going to incur a luxury tax in how much they paid for their signing class. Jimbo. Oh, man. You know what? Before we get to that, and what I'm really looking forward to, Troy Hughes, you have the floor, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let me go ahead and respond to just that one snippet from Coach Saban.
A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, and like.
That's what he said. My response is, what's your point?
Yep.
What is your point? Because if you have a point,
it's in the rules,
and you're upset with it, then let me direct you to 700 West Washington Street in Indianapolis. That is the headquarters of the NCAA. You can go there and talk to them, because what A&M's doing, hey, this isn't the late 80s with Jackie Sherrill, okay? We're not doing that anymore. We're living in the wild, wild west, and if they're allowing us to do this, then hell, we're going to do that. Now, you can be upset, and you can say it's not fair, and more importantly, you can really hate A&M for what they're doing, whether you are a Bama fan or just another college football fan, but we are only doing what we're allowed to do.
Does this cost Alabama? You go to Alabama because it's Bama, and it's an NFL machine, and all the winning, and the dynasty, and the legend. I wonder, well, I don't wonder how much other coaches will use this against them, but I wonder if you're a recruit, and I'm Lane Kiffin, and I say, you definitely don't want to go. This got used against Dabo. Dabo doesn't want you to make money, young man. Dabo doesn't believe in a free market. Dabo thinks that you're a piece of meat that is supposed to go out there and sweat and sacrifice for his $8 million salary. I wonder how much that will hurt Nick Saban in terms of recruiting versus the dominance and everything else you usually go to Alabama for, because that's how I would paint him. I would paint him as a guy who doesn't believe in you getting paid.
Yeah, Nick, and you know, in the entire conference that he had, you know, he talked about he does not favor, and I agree with him on this. He does not like pre-planned NIL deals. He says his thought is when Bama will not facilitate NIL deals for you. When you come here, you're a big enough star, you will get them on your own. A&M decided that they're going to do all that work for you.
Recruitment.
And they're going to give you your NIL deal before you get there. And Saban's going to say there is a pride in earning it.
Yes.
And that will play with some parents.
Yeah.
It will play. Make no mistake about it.
Not the majority. Not the majority. You want to go to a company who goes, here's a signing bonus right off the jump to come with us, or you know what? Once you prove yourself after a year, then we'll give you the big money.
What's a bonus?
Yeah, right.
What's a bonus?
Exactly.
So, like the difference is that A&M is just doing all of the facilitating to get you these NIL deals, and Alabama will do it for you when you're there, but they won't do it to get you there.